hope you've got a cup of tea and you're nice and ready. Yes, that's right, this video is all about me. Hello and welcome back to my channel AbiBeaker. For those of you who've just found my video by chance, my name is Abby, I am an American Civil War reenactor, and I'm making this video a little bit based around pregnancy. I'll explain that in a second. For those reoccurring, hello again, good evening. Today is the 19th of October, so this video will be published hopefully next Friday, which is the 28th, and I'll explain why I'm videoing it now in a second. For those who have watched me before, you will know that I am pregnant. I've said in a few of the videos in the past, and for those who reenact with me, you will also know that I am pregnant and have been throughout the whole of reenacting this year. So this video is going to be based around that. So I'm 39 weeks pregnant today. I am due next Wednesday, the 26th of October. So I thought, combine the two, pregnancy, camping, reenacting, and then make a video from it. So it's effectively an interview of common questions and queries that I get asked. I thought it would be a good video to do, considering I'm due next week. So fingers crossed, next Friday the 28th, I'll either have a baby, still be pregnant, or be a few days into motherhood, and I can just publish this video and I haven't got to do any editing, apart from the awful bits of me talking. So I can just publish it ready and get it ready, hence why I'm videoing it this week instead of next. Anyone who hasn't been here before or has been here before, if you could subscribe, like and share. That sounds really, really cringe when I say it, but I ask because I want people to see what I do. I want people to see that I do American Civil War reenactments, and it's actually really enjoyable, and it's something that other people should be interested in. For those that can't go to reenactments for any reason whatsoever, that they can't get there, they can at least use my channel to watch from a different view, from a behind the scenes perspective of my own way of how I get there and to and from, etc., and also from a public perspective of what you would see when you came to an event, of what we do and then versus what we do behind the scenes. So that's a little bit about my channel and me. Like I said, I am 39 weeks pregnant, due next week. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl before anyone asks in the comments. I don't know, I've got no idea. So as I said, this is just going to be some questions. I hope you've got a cup of tea or a drink or a biscuit, because I do talk a lot. I'm going to try and not rush through the questions, but not babble on the questions and fluff the questions up. I'm going to just try and answer the question and move on to the next one. I've only got 16 questions, so it's not many questions at all, but I'm hoping it's enough to be like a 10-minute long video. We will see. I've probably talked for like 3 already, so it's just a waste of time. So let's get into that. These are questions that I've been asked throughout the whole of my pregnancy. I've written them down on my notepad from various people, other campers, family, friends, colleagues, etc., who have just asked me common things. If anyone has any questions that I haven't answered and you'd think, oh, actually it'd be really interesting to know that because maybe you're pregnant yourself, or it's someone who's got family and they want to go camping or anything like that, then ask the question in the comments or message me. If you know me personally, that's fine, but if you ask in the comments, that also helps boost the video a little bit as well, so that would be grand. Thank you very much. Let's crack on with the questions. Question 1. How did I tell other reenactors? This is an easy question to answer. So we found out we were pregnant in February this year. We didn't announce until end of March, April time. I think middle of April I was 12 weeks pregnant. So the first event of the season was Moira. Oh, let me skip back. Ignore that I've just told you the first event of the season was Moira. Just before Moira, my reenacting family, we have 2 people that we go and visit quite regularly. They live in South Yorkshire. Our Corporal Martin and his wife Andrea with their little girl Jasmine, and they come and visit us regularly down in Gloucester. So they were the first reenactor family to find out, apart from my immediate family. They were on FaceTime to us one night and they'd stayed a little bit more recently at our house, and they'd left some baby shampoo and they'd left a dummy. So I said, oh, 1 second, let me go and show you what you've left here. So I went and grabbed the shampoo, grabbed the dummy, and I held it up on FaceTime, and I said, oh, you've left these here, do you mind if I keep the baby shampoo for our own baby, or something along those lines, I said. And that's where Martin and Andrea clicked, and they were like, oh, you're pregnant? And I was like, yeah. And then the conversation continued. So that was sort of a quick announcement to them prior to going to any events later on that year. So now we can skip back to the Moira comment. Moira was the first event of the season. I think it was the middle of April, or the first event for me anyway. So it was April time. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but it was the first YouTube videos that I'd done. So it's when I first started the channel, so it's a lot earlier this year. And for context for this story, I'll just post a picture of my brother now. So there's a picture somewhere there on the screen. So I have him in that for context. My brother and his partner Bethany, they are actually 3 weeks, or 3 and a bit weeks ahead of me in terms of pregnancy. So they now have a little girl. Congratulations to them again. They have a little girl, and I've been having cuddles all morning today with her. So she's newborn as well. So we came up with the idea of doing a double pregnancy announcement. So everyone would expect me, being the older sister, my brother's 3 years younger than me, to have children first. At camp I'm very motherly. I like spending time with the other children at camp, looking after them, taking them round, things like that. I just gravitate towards children. I'm very motherly. So I think everyone would have expected that at some point. So I said to my brother, look, I'll gather everyone in the street, and we'll sort of, I'll say I'm pregnant because they'll expect it, and then you say afterwards that you're also going to have a baby. At this point, I hadn't had my scan, as I had it at 13 weeks rather than 12 weeks. However, I was 12 and a bit weeks pregnant. By the way, I've just realised I said street. I don't mean street like as in a street on the main road. I mean tent line, in the tent line at Moira, where we had all our tents set up. So I sort of went round to everyone and said, oh guys, come round into our tent line when you've done your tea, want to tell you all something. And they were like, hey, do you now? Sort of gesturing already that I was possibly pregnant, which didn't come as a shock to me, and I'm glad. Sat down, and everyone was like, right, so you're going to tell us you're up the duff then? I think it was Claire who said that. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to tell you, I'm up the duff. And that was a sort of, oh yay, congratulations. And then my brother went, not to sound weird, but I'm also pregnant too. But I mean, not Abby pregnant, as in my missus is pregnant, Beth. And everyone was like, oh no, two Golda babies. That's in a positive way, by the way. That's not negative whatsoever. My maiden name is Golda, so 2 Golda babies. One from me, one my brother. So that was quite funny, and a really nice announcement for my brother, I think, as well, because I don't necessarily think everyone expected both of us to announce we were going to have babies literally around the same time of year, this time of year now. So that's really good. So that's the 2 pregnancy kind of announcements to reenactors. Let's see what's next. Symptoms at camp, like sickness. Okay. Yes, I've been really lucky, touch wood. I've probably jinxed it, but I've been really lucky in terms of I haven't yet been sick or had really bad sickness, etc, etc. I think the only symptoms I've really gone through is feeling sick, but that only lasted for, say, the first 3 to 4 months, in the evening only, and it was only if I ate late or if I didn't eat at all in the evening. They were the 2 reasons I felt sick, but that didn't affect me at camp. At camp, I was fine. I could eat normal, go to bed normal, get up normal. Camp, I was really lucky. I know that some people aren't as lucky as that, so I'm extremely grateful that I didn't be sick, because I do not do sick very well. I am not a good person with sick. Not sure how I'm going to be in a week's time with baby sick. I'm sure I'll be perfectly fine, but we will see. We will see. The main thing that I have had at camp is indigestion and burping. For those who already know me, I do burp. I'm not going to hide that. That's just complete honesty. I do burp. People at work know that. It's not on purpose. I'm just naturally a gassy person, and I don't necessarily drink caffeine. I don't drink fizzy drinks. I don't drink coffee or necessarily anything that makes me want to burp. I just have indigestion and I burp. There we go. But these burps were every time I ate in the evening for about an hour after I ate, every 4 or 5 minutes. I was just burping, 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 and not like I suppressed, oh, sorry, pardon me, burp. It was a big cider pint drinking burp. As disgusting as that sounds. That's the only real thing that's been noticeably different at camp in terms of symptoms, is that it's just been burping a lot more. And then that eased off midway through my pregnancy, and the last 3 weeks it's sort of come back again. So I don't know, they say that burping's a sign of having a lot of hair on the baby, so we'll see what happens. Question 3. Sleeping. How did you sleep comfy? Do you have a camp bed? No. I do own a camp bed. I didn't use it throughout any of the events at the end of lockdown, sort of 2021 and start of 2022. I did think, oh, now I'm pregnant, I should put a camp bed up, so I took it to Marbury Merry Days, put the camp bed up for the first time. If you've seen the video for that, you'll see the camp bed in it. Slept on it for one night and got annoyed and took it down. I didn't find it comfortable at all. I prefer to sleep on just the floor, to be perfectly honest. I had a ground sheet, then 2 blankets, 2 woolen blankets. Then I have 2 double duvets, but I fold them in half, so it makes 4 singles. So I had them 4 singles, one inside another, and then I had another blanket and then my cloak on top. So it's not like I was short of being comfortable. And then I also had a pregnancy pillow. I'm going to insert the picture of that here. So I also had this pregnancy pillow. So I had the pregnancy pillow underneath the duvets with the layers on top of me and underneath me. So I effectively made my own mattress, and then the pregnancy pillow went all the way around me. So it also kept the heat in. So I was absolutely boiling at most of the events, and some of them I didn't even bother sleeping with the pillow in the end. It was more to stop me rolling onto my back in the later half of my pregnancy. I didn't buy it for 6 months, and then I realised, okay, like, you're not supposed to sleep on your back. I think it's after 20 weeks or 25 weeks. And naturally, when you're on a camp bed or on the floor, you do sort of sleep on your back, because lying on your side can really hurt, especially when you're on the ground. But yeah, air beds or anything like that, no, I've never got along with them. I'd rather just sleep on the floor and just sleep, to be honest. I find it so much more comfortable. Question 4. Did I nap more? Yes, I think. If you've seen a few of my videos, I think it was the Staffordshire Bloom Fiesta, I fell asleep, and the only reason I woke up was because my drink of lemonade had tipped off the box that was behind me because of the wind and spilt all over my back, and I'd just woken up and I was left on the floor asleep. And one of my more recent videos, Epworth, when I arrived there on the Friday, it was hot and I was the first one there, so I fell asleep for an hour and a half, I think, just on the ground next to my car, and I videoed just before I had a nap. I don't normally nap, so yeah, I would say I've napped more, but that's the only 2 extra times. It's normally other people around camp that in the daytime they just lie and nap, and I tend to be the busybody moving around. I did get a few comments of people saying, yeah, you were sound asleep on the floor down there, and I probably didn't even realise I was asleep. I actually think, no, I did sleep a couple more times. Staffordshire Bloom Fiesta, I slept 3 or 4 times that weekend and napped. So yeah, I would say I did nap more. Question 5. Did I eat at certain times? Did any food make you unwell, or foods to avoid? Foods to avoid is your typical foods of pregnancy anyway. They say like raw egg and things like that. Fish. At camp I don't tend to eat anything like that anyway. If you've seen my videos, I live off of square sausages and baked beans, and then biscuits and snacks, which is literally what I've lived off of for the whole pregnancy. So I've been really lucky in terms of what I can eat. I can take other food with me. I did enchiladas one night. I haven't had to avoid any foods or any foods that have made me really bad. Anything like that at all is kind of fine for me. Anything make me feel unwell? Not really, no. Eating certain times, again, is the only thing is I couldn't eat really, really late. But that was only at the start / to mid of the pregnancy. I was fine for the rest. Question 6, food cravings? No. No, most of my videos I've taken like things like grapes, digestives, snacks, cakes, biscuits. That's what I tend to take anyway. So that's not anything different to normal. So no, I haven't really had any food cravings for that. Question 7. Drinks. Drinking at camp, I drink water anyway. I think I mentioned earlier that I don't really drink fizzy drinks or anything. I never really have done. I do sometimes have lemonade, say if I'm drinking rosé or something outside of being pregnant. I will drink lemonade occasionally, but otherwise no. I'm absolutely fine. In terms of drinking, it was just water and then cups of tea. I'm very lucky that other camp people, other reenactors of the family, I'd wake up in the morning and some of them were like, Abby, would you like a cup of tea? And I do love a cup of tea. So it would be tea, water, and that's really all I drink at home anyway. So that's nice and easy. 8. Did the public touch your belly, and do you mind people touching your belly? No, I don't mind people touching my belly. It doesn't really bother me. They can touch if they want. Some people find it really fascinating. I think it is really fascinating, and I've enjoyed being pregnant. And it's nice when the baby moves around. Some people find it absolutely disgusting and they won't go anywhere near my belly, which is also fine. It doesn't really bother me. No members of public touch my belly. I don't really think, with the kind of clothes I was wearing, many people noticed I was pregnant until later on at the last couple of events that I went to. So in terms of Staffordshire Bloom Fiesta, they had craft tents. We went in one of the craft tents and I was holding underneath my belly where my skirt was. It was just comfortable. And a lady one of the crafters did say to me, oh, you're pregnant, are you? How far along, etc. So I answered her questions and I had a conversation with her. And she was going on to say, oh yeah, at one of the craft fairs I was at recently, or something she'd done recently, she had a ladies' waters break, and she was basically giving birth or whatever it was in the field, something along those lines. And she said, oh, it wasn't a very nice birth, we had to do this and that. And I was just thinking, thank you very much. I mean, none of that bothers me. Very luckily, none of that bothers me. You can tell me horror stories and everything. Everyone's different, so it's never going to be the same as somebody else's story. So none of that, luckily, I'm bothered by. But it was quite funny how she just went into this spurt of telling me what happened to this lady in this field. Other than that, I haven't really had any members of public comment or anything like that. I have had, in the past, prior to being pregnant, people think that other children in the camp were my children. As I say, I'm quite motherly at camp, so last year in 2021 I did have people sitting with me. I had 2 young children sat with me one day, and this lady was walking through camp saying, oh, it's so lovely when you can bring children to camp, and I agree with that. I think it is so lovely, and if I do get the chance to take our baby to camp next year, I'm going to be doing that. And this lady had said that, and I said, oh yeah, I think that's a really good idea when I have children. She was like, oh, I'm ever so sorry, are these not your children? And I thought that was really funny, but also really sweet. And I said, no, but don't worry about it, I get it all the time. They just were sat on my lap and we were all snuggled up under a blanket, so they automatically just looked like my children. Question 9. Am I fed up with people asking me questions? Like due date, gender, etc. No. My surname, maiden name is Golder. Me, myself, my brother and my dad, sorry. We talk a lot. Like, we talk a lot. We do talk a lot. So, talking about myself does not bother me in the absolute slightest. Even if that means repeating myself 4 or 5 times to different people in the same day, I don't mind it. talk to members of the public asking us questions about the reenactments, and you get asked the same questions, is the camp real? If you've seen a couple of the interview videos, I'm going to link a couple of them below. Questions like, are the fires real? Do you really sleep in these tents? You get asked those more than often, so you're repeating yourself all the time anyway. So if people asking you, oh, how long are you? And you're going to find out the gender. It's just normal questions that you get in everyday life, like at home or at work. So it doesn't bother me, people asking me those questions, and I also don't mind talking about myself. Question 10. Luckily there's only 6 questions left. Unloading or loading the car. My husband will help me load my car. There is 2 things that towards the latter end of the pregnancy that I wasn't lifting, which is my wooden box, which has got all my pots and pans, veg, stew, tins, etc. in. And then I also have the fire pit, the company fire pit, which is heavy as well. So it's not heavy when you're not pregnant, but towards the stages of pregnancy where I was starting to show quite a big bump, a bit like now, I would ask him to load that into the car for me. So there are some videos posted where the car's already loaded and I'm just putting the extra stuff in, and that's because he loaded it prior for me and he doesn't want to be in the videos, which is fine, so I didn't video him putting those in. And then at camps, likewise in the videos, you'll see other people lifting stuff out of the car for me, and that again is just primarily my box and the fire pit, because towards the end of the pregnancy I was like, okay, I should probably be a bit more careful. But up until a couple of events ago, say Staffordshire Balloon Fiesta, I was unloading and reloading the car myself. I was just being careful with what I was doing and making sure nothing was too heavy. If it was too heavy, and say it was a box and I had no one else around, I would empty the box of stuff, then move the box and put the stuff back in the box. So I made it easier. Oh yeah, I did note down here to say that everyone offered. To be fair, they did. I'm a very independent person, and I will get annoyed with people keep saying, do you want me to help you? Do you want me to help you? The answer is yes, if I ask you for help. Otherwise, no, thank you. I'm just quite independent like that. Question 11. Portaloos and toilets. How did I go to the bathroom? Like anybody else. If I needed to go 2 or 3 times in the night because I'm pregnant, then I would get up 2 or 3 times in the night, walk to the portaloos or the toilets that were available and walk back again. None of it bothers me. Take a torch, make sure it is a toilet, you go to the toilet. Question 12. Should I sit by the fire? So this is actually something that my husband was talking to me about as well. One of his questions when I became pregnant was, should I be sitting that close to a fire? Good evening. It is Sunday the 23rd of October. I'm editing the interview video of the pregnancy stuff for Friday, and I've just checked where my camera died while I was doing it, and it's actually cut off like 3 questions. So in answer to the one question, and I'll insert this clip in the middle, should I be sitting that close to the fire? I shouldn't sit by the fire permanently, no. However, for the amount of times that I was sitting next to the fire, say I've been to 5 events this year, and I was only sitting there in the morning and the evening to cook, and some events we didn't even have a fire going, so the smoke inhalation was minimal. If I was doing it on a more permanent basis, say every weekend or permanently sat next to the fire, then yeah, perhaps I wouldn't have used the fire that much or been as close to it. Everyone has their own different views on that, which is fine by me. For my personal opinion, I think I was fine sat by the fire cooking, socialising, and in the evenings when we are socialising, we're not that close, and some of the events were warm enough or wet enough that we weren't allowed to have fires either. Hope that answers that question. Let's move to the next. Well, my camera's nice enough that it's just turned off on me. I must have got bored of my talking, so that means I've probably talked for too long. So I'll re-answer that question. It was, what did your partner or husband think about travelling far away? The answer is, he doesn't mind. The last event was Whitby. It took me 6 hours last year, so I just had stops this year. I could have just said that for the question in the first place. Part B to this question is, what is the furthest event and how late in the pregnancy did you travel? Whitby was my last event, which was the August bank holiday weekend, so a month and a bit ago. So I was only 7.5 months pregnant-ish then. So that's the furthest event I've been, was Whitby like I say, last year it took me 6 hours. This year I broke it up and stayed at someone's house on the Thursday and went on the Friday, and then on the way home I stopped at the services. Question 14. Clothes. Did they fit? What did you wear? I have 3 dresses, a green dress, a blue, more ball gowny type dress, and a blue day dress. All 3 of those I didn't wear this season, I don't think at all. I wore a blue skirt with a white shirt, or a blue shirt with the blue skirt, and then also halfway through the pregnancy someone very kindly gave me another dress, which is a 2-parter, so a top and a bottom skirt, which comes apart, so I wore the skirt with a white blouse for that part, and it either hid my bump, or towards the end of the pregnancy didn't hide my bump at all, and you can sort of just see me waddling around on camera, and I edit that out before I publish the video so you can't see it at all. But yeah, I wore skirt and shirts basically. One of my skirts is completely elasticated. It's not elasticated, it's just ribbon, so there's no elastic in it, there's no holding it. I can just do it to whatever tightness I do, and it covers the bump nicely. So not that I want to cover it, but it sits above it, and I've got boots. Nice and easy. Did you stop doing anything? Question 15. Oh, then there's one question after. Wonderful. Did I stop doing anything? In terms of activities, that's what that means. No. No, I didn't. Epworth, we played rounders. Forgot to video that footage, but we played rounders. I was backstop or on a post kind of situation. It wasn't a full game of rounders, it was just hit the ball and pick it up. So I didn't run. I did get a stitch from it though. And then I thought, okay, I should probably not do as much exercise, because that was more recent. That was June time. Horseshoes is a really easy activity, so you just throw in the horseshoes at the pin. So no, I didn't stop doing that. Hide and seek was one we did at the very first event, Moira, and I won one of the rounds of hide and seek by hiding under a bush really, really low down and making sure that I was fully covered with foliage. So no, I didn't stop doing that. Tag was the same weekend. I don't normally run, I'm not a runner. I can't run to save my life. So tag was a good bit of energy burning for me, but that was really early on in the pregnancy, so it wasn't when I was heavily pregnant or anything like that. Late nights, yeah, I still did late nights. You don't have to stay up late at camp. I did, because that's me generally. I stay up late at night at home. So when I say late, I mean like between 10 and 12. So we have a curfew 12 o'clock at camps for winding down the noise and the campfire. Quite often, if there was a beer tent or a social tent on the camp, we would go to the social tent. Me and a few other reenactors. Some people would stay at camp and sing songs. So I'd do a bit of both. I enjoy both scenarios because they're both social scenarios, talking to people. So I would do both of those. And in the beer tent specifically, if there's dancing, I would also be up on the dance floor. However, Whitby, August Bank Holiday, I did find that when I was dancing I could do one song, then I'd have to sit down for 2 songs, and then I could go and dance to the next song. So that's the only thing I've had to change, because I was literally getting hot flushes, couldn't dance, too hot, and then I was just out of breath. So singing to Sweet Caroline, trying to dance to that on the dance floor, I would just find that I wasn't even singing in the end. I was just going and just mouthing the song, because I couldn't I couldn't sing it because I had no energy. So no, I didn't really stop any of those activities. I just slowed down a little bit. Last question. Did I enjoy camping while pregnant? So for those of you who've never been reenacting or done anything like that, the end of the season is now. The last event was, I don't know if it was the last event, but St Bernard Castle was, I think, 2 or 3 weekends ago now. I might be getting this completely wrong. It might have been, oh no, it was September. Yeah, I'm getting that completely wrong. It was a month ago. As far as I'm aware, it was a month ago. So no, there was no other events as far as I know. I didn't go to that one. My last one was Whitby in Yorkshire. This season is over now for the year, so next year we'll be starting again in April I believe. So over the winter period there's no camping. So I did enjoy camping while pregnant, yes. I love my hobby and I wouldn't change it for the world. So camping, is something that just is normal to me. It's not anything different. I enjoyed it, and anyone who is pregnant, I would say go and enjoy camping just as normal. Just make sure if you're used to having luxuries at home, you take those luxuries with you. For me, I don't necessarily have any specific luxuries. If I had to pick something, the pregnancy pillow towards the end, say at Whitby and a couple of months ago, that was an asset to me because it helped me not roll onto my back, and it helped me keep the draft in when it was a little bit chillier at night. Other than that, because I'm used to the camping, sleeping on the floor, cooking square sausages, eating basic foods, I did eat enough food, it was just basic food. That for me is enough to keep me going for a weekend. That's luxuries to me. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it hasn't been too long. If you can share it, I'd be much appreciated. And then the video after this will probably be me saying I've had a baby, or a video from Whitby, because I haven't published anything from Whitby, and I interviewed our dad, who's the first sergeant of our regiment, 180th Pennsylvania. I interviewed him at Whitby finally, because I've been trying to get an interview with him all season. So I'll probably publish that and then do the Whitby videos, and then it'll be into Christmas. And then there'll be more videos next year, and I'm hoping I've got enough content to do like a Christmas special, where I've got some stupid videos that I've taken over the period of the season that I haven't put in any of my videos yet. I've edited them out because they're just stupid. So I thought I'd put maybe a montage of those together, and I'll publish those till Christmas. But otherwise, have a lovely evening, and thank you for watching again.